Today I'm going to be talking about why the guest revamp sucks and how you can fix guest in the state that he's in right now. First I'll go over stat changes. Passives. Made to last. This passive gives guest an extra 10 HP. Guest's second passive is self-sacrifice, which gives guest hit priority over any survivor or structure, allowing him to body block effectively. Guest's first ability is block. This, when activated, gives guest resistance 5, aka invincibility, for 1 second, and reducing their movement speed by 50%. Block only fully negates basic attacks like M1s, like slash. Blocking non-basic attack immediately breaks your block and restores your normal movement speed. The hit that breaks the block deals 40% reduced damage. And guess 1 through 7 will gain resistance 2 for 3 seconds afterwards. Successfully blocking a basic attack like slash grants guess 1 through 7 plus 10 permanent overheal HP, which is capped at 30. And it fully resets punch's cooldown, grants speed 1 for 2 seconds, and slows the killer by 30% for 1 second. Guest's next ability is charge. When activated, Guest 1 through 7 charges forward in a shoulder bash pose for 1.5 seconds. If Guest 1 through 7 collides with a killer during his charge, the killer is knocked back, and Guest 1 through 7 will gain resistance 5 for 1.25 seconds. Missing a charge inflicts Guest 1 through 7 with slowness 2, with the duration scaling based on distance from the nearest killer. The farther away, the longer the slow, up to a maximum of 15 seconds. Charge ends automatically if you charge into a wall. Guest 1 through 7 cannot gain stamina while charging. This ability has its knockback reduced by 8% for every additional Guest 1 through 7 alive, and cannot affect the killer more than once every 20 seconds. This ability has a 40-second cooldown. Guest 1 through 7's final ability is punch. Guest 1 through 7 winds up his fist for 0.6 seconds and punches forward, applying slight knockback, helpless, and slowness 2 for 2 seconds. Regular punch does not stun or pierce. If this ability is used immediately after a successful block, it becomes a parry punch. A parry punch has a windup of 0.4 seconds, stuns the killer for 2 seconds, and applies significantly increased knockback. Parry punch does pierce. This ability has its knockback reduced 8% for every additional Guest 1 through 7 currently alive in the lobby. Regular punch has a 60-second cooldown. With all the stats out of the way, I'm going to say my thoughts on the changes. Quick out the video now if you don't want to hear me ranting, but yeah. So the first change that was made to Guest 1 through 7's kit was that his movement speed was reduced by 50% instead of 75%. It's a good change because Guest 1 through 7 has less and lag, and that's good. That's a buff. Next, block can only fully negate basic attacks. And can only get a punch charge, parry punch, off basic attacks, like slash. I honestly think this was a good change. Why, you may ask? Because, being able to block other abilities kind of shut down a carry. For example, Novi. Void Rush was completely shut down by Guest and was hard countered. Why? Because it's blockable, and even if you do cancel Void Rush, you're losing Void Rush. and that's a powerful tool during chase. And having it just like locked out because a character hard counters it, an ability hard counters it, is not very good. Obviously, this does nerf guess, but I think this is a needed balance change. So I agree with this. For any non-basic attack, the block breaks, reducing the damage by 40%, and gets stance resistance too. Honestly, this is a good change too. It doesn't make guests completely vulnerable, but yeah. Successfully hitting a block grants guest 10 permanent over here. Honestly, this is a good bonus for actually hitting a block, and I honestly like that change, even though I hit like 0 block. I'm washed, I guess. I'm washed. And then finally, when you land a block, punch's cooldown will be completely reset, and will grant. And your block is a speed 1. Overall, the things to block, they were actually the knockback if it can only be used every 20 seconds. Yeah. Next, punch. Okay, I'm gonna go into full rant. Yeah. Guess 1 through 3 7. It's kind of like Fighter if you played by the night. Like you don't need to block to get a punch hurt, but punch doesn't stun anymore. Instead, it gives a slight knockback, helpless, and stun. So, and it does not give you any type of resistance during chase. I hate this so much. Why? Because punch is pretty much useless now. Like, obviously, yes, it gives slowness too and stuff, but it's risk for minimal reward. That's where I'm going at. first off, it has a long windup. If you look at it, it has an extremely long windup, which is reactable, which is extremely reactable, right? And if a killer, for example, was in the windup for an ability or an M1 already before you actually use it, you would take full damage. So imagine a cool kid who's walk speed over at him as you're about to punch them. You take full damage from that, and it's honestly so stupid. Like this is really where like the nerf hurts the most. And if they were trying to like nerf punch, why did they take this thing away? Like it's so stupid because like at least give guest resistance, because then like he's dead in an instant. Like if guest decide if you decide to punch and chase, then you can, it's almost an easy hit for the killer almost every time, and this is so stupid. Like and then like now you can only stun the parry punch. Now keep in mind you could only get a parry punch after a block. Now when you can only get a parry punch after a block has been nerfed. So like it's so now you can only get it from M1s. So block, which was already pretty hard to hit, is harder to hit now. And you're getting and you have to do all of that just for a 2-second stun. A 2-second stun. Any other stun in the game is better than this. And in the risk for the reward, again, they're not matching. The problem with the guest rework is that they're not matching the risk with the reward. Guest, he's always been a risk reward character. Unlike Shadletsky, where like he has a low risk because his stun is easy to hit. Contrary to popular belief. Guest, he suffers a lot from like all you have to do is like bait out his block, and then he's like done. And what else does he have? He has a measly little nerf punch that just tickles the killer. Like it's not gonna do anything to help him. Like all it's really going to do, the most it's going to do to help Guest is possibly hit, but it's not gonna do much. The killer's probably just gonna wait and gain their stamina, or like just like keep pace with you. And the main problem with the rework is that you're not getting what you're not getting a reward for the risk behind doing it. The risk being a punishment and half your HP. How I would rework this is I would keep the block change the same, all the overheal, only being able to block M1s, but I would increase the cooldown. I'm sorry, I would I would increase the cooldown of regular punch to 90 seconds, or actually no, I would change punch into a charge move. You would have one punch charge in whole match. This is going to be similar to old Guest, but instead, it would only have like a 1 second stun, and it would have a 90-second cooldown. Obviously, you would have a charge at the beginning of the round, but after that, you would have to block attacks. together. Now there's actually strategies. Then so pretty much for my rework is guess would start with a punch charge, which would now stun the killer for 1 second. Which would stun the killer for 1 second. Everything would remain the same, except for maybe you get like distance 1 while you're punching. If you because that's how I would bounce it. And then as for Fairy Punch, I would increase the stun duration to 3 seconds. I would put the cooldown at 24 seconds, the same as it was before, but I would reduce the knockback to that. That is really all that I have to say. Rework stuff made punch useless. Yeah. Anyway, have a good day. Please like and subscribe, maybe. I don't know. And yeah.